Habari ma Africa, mimi ni King, nina furaha kukutana na wewe. Asante kwa kutazama King Says So. Ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful interview that our African queen Duduzile had with the political scientist. I'm talking about Floyd Shivambu himself. A lot has been said on that interview that I want to bring to your attention because I think Floyd Shivambu is strategically placing himself to be further favored by the MK political party caucus more than anyone in that party. He was strategic in how he was answering the questions and also defending the indefensible in the MK political party. As the Secretary General, he carries the banner of the party on his shoulders. And did he do a good job in this interview when he was asked about conflicts, when he was asked about the EFF, when he was asked about the strategic positioning of the MK political party in today's domestic balances of forces in South Africa? Let's talk about that, Paseta, and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Says So. I'm your host, Kagiso Hlongwane, horses in Jiva Sono, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we're breaking down the beautiful interview that Duduzile had with Floyd Shivambu. Let me start with the Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture. We are turning 1 year old on the 14th of July 2025. This is now another testament that we as African children are not allowed to dream. We've been told so many times that our dream is too big. We've been told so many times that our dream is stupid. We've been told so many times that what we are trying to achieve will never obtain it. We're told so many times that African people are corrupt. We've been told so many times that whatever Africans start, they break it down. And it gets broken down by other African times. But more than anything, we've been told so many times that we will get support from everyone, but not Africans. And as you know, in the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, I personally said, as the founder of Paseta, that we will not take any money to build an African school outside the African race. And that was not a racist statement. That was a statement of confidence in my people. To say our people will unite, and our people from different political backgrounds, from different tribal and traditional backgrounds, our people from different economical situation will come and unite and build this school. And I stand on those words, and I will not be moved like a well-rooted tree. Now, we'd like to thank everyone that has donated to the Pan-African School. Your 50 Rand is making a difference. We really want to do something for the 2025 July 14th first anniversary of Paseta. We really want to do something at the school grounds. We really want to do something there, and we will really appreciate your support on that regard. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do make sure that you go over to the Paseta Pan-African School YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe there, because more information is going to start flowing in on that side. Thank you so much for everyone in the marketing team for assisting us to kickstart our social media presence back again on the social media space. Thank you so much on Paseta. Thank you so much, guys. Now let me get into this interview. Before I say that, I almost got into my Malcolm X moment there, but really, it's only Africans that are not allowed to dream. It's only Africans that are not allowed to dream. Paseta is a dream, but it is a dream that we will live to see it become a reality. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, let's get into it. This is a nice interview that Duduzile had with Floyd Shivambu, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts on some of the things that Floyd Shivambu said, and I would like you guys to come and listen with me. Openly minded soul. I know some of us were not happy with how Floyd exited the EFF because of, we thought if he can backstab Julius Sello Malema, he can surely backstab anyone else. But now the question remains, will Floyd Shivambu be kicked out of the MK political party as Secretary General, or will he at one point find it within himself after the abuse that he's getting on social media to resign? That's a big question that we are all asking. And Floyd Shivambu answered that question by saying this.
And the other thing is that I'll never resign from Umkhonto Wesizwe.
Never.
Even if I am not in any of its leadership structures. I did not join Umkhonto Wesizwe to lead it. I joined Umkhonto Wesizwe to be a member, to campaign for its ideals and a program and vision, because I think that the manner in which it's conceptualized and how President Zuma get to explain what Umkhonto Wesizwe is to all of us is a far much more noble perspective, that let us constitute a fresh national liberation movement which will draw the best lessons from the struggles against colonialism and apartheid, from the former liberation movement, which will take as well the Freedom Charter and attain all its objectives, because those that were mandated by history have failed dismally to do so.
Now, no matter how many times Floyd Shivambu explains this part, people will never believe it. People who choose not to believe him will not believe him. People who choose to be critical of Floyd will never believe him that he joined the political party to be an ordinary member, and even if he moved from a position of Secretary General, he will then still find it within himself to support the vision of the Umkhonto Wesizwe political party. He also said, he says he joined the MK political party because of how Jacob Zuma explained what MK party is to them. Wow. That's very deep. That's very deep. Giving the glory back to the chess master himself, and reassuring the MK political party members that I will not resign. I will never resign from this political party. It's like I said last week or this week, I said you joined because of monetary value. Yes, the vision might have aligned with whatever you want. Because someone corrected me, he said, King, you said, because I said last week, I said Floyd was comfortable in the MK political party, deputy president unchallenged, member of parliament, there's salaries, there's influence, there's power that he had there in the MK political, in the EFF, excuse me. But now in the MK, he does not have that at all. So not at all, but he does not have it with a high level that he had it in the EFF. So I'm quite convinced that the monetary value was quite high, because how do you leave all of that money to say that you want to be an ordinary member? You clearly don't have the money to do that, surely so. But he also surprisingly defended Ututu Zuma. He defended Ututu Zuma. He was asked about the relationship with him and Ututu, and he defended her. Hey, Matot. Oh, Floyd, this is what he said.
You had events together since then, so what's it like now?
There's never been any hostility, and there's never been any political difference that I'm aware of. Because whenever we interact, is my sister, my brother, is everything is going well. That has been a consistent relationship since I
now, Floyd played this answer very well. He played it very well, because everyone who's EFF wants to see Floyd bump heads with Ututu. Ututu has shown that she has no she has no problem actually with the EFF member and EFF president. She has even worn t-shirts with his slogan, "Try me, boys." And some of us know other information that we cannot share. But she has no problem with the EFF. She has no problem with the CIC. So the CIC people, they see that Ututu is the one that has the potential to break down this political party. So they want her to clash heads with Floyd. That's what they want. They want the drama. They want to see Floyd as Zola. Because abantu abamnyama, they are very happy to say, "We told you so. Boyap, yana na aya queen. Aya queen." So it is that thing. They want to ask him, but where were you going? Where were you going? What were you doing? What were you thinking? Huh? And the EFF will clearly not take him back, even though the president, on the first announcement when he was heartbroken, he said, Floyd, if you want to come back, I will make an exception for you. That video was very painful to watch. But that's what people want to see. So the political immaturity of Floyd is to say, listen, there's no hostility. Hostility, oh my God, it's horse in Kiran today. There's no hostility between the two of them. He says, no, we have never had any political differences. When we meet is, how are you, my brother? How are you, my sister? And like, hey, my brother, my sister. I'm like, hey, Floyd is very clever in doing this. Because even if Ututu wanted to go on another interview, because she will be on interviews, and respond to the Floyd question, are you okay with Floyd? How are you doing? She will remember what Floyd said about her in public. And she will also turn around and say, listen, Floyd is my brother. That is our secretary. We love him so much. There's no issues between me and Floyd. That is what she's forced to say now, that Floyd is defending her. I showed you guys a video of Bonginkosi Kanyele when he was asked about Floyd. He did not want to answer any question, excuse me. He did not want to say, yes, we love him, yes, we hate him, yes, we what. But here you find Floyd defending the people who are attacking him in public. This is amazing. And also him characterizing the domestic balances of power. Floyd has got ways of answering questions. This is what he said.
But the most dynamic a politically sound thing which the MK did, which we also made a plea that all other political organizations should do, we sat in a meeting of the National High Command to begin to characterize the domestic and global balance of forces. So in our characterization of the domestic balance of forces, we then also got to characterize all the political formations and role players in South Africa. We did characterize to say that the ANC, although it is captured by the white capitalist establishment, is being puppet mastered by Stellenbosch in terms of what it has to achieve. We say that we can't categorize and define the ANC as an enemy force. We say it's a strategic opponent which is contested. It's a contested opponent. Mm-hmm. So there's a difference between an enemy and an opponent. Enemy you have to crush. You must eliminate completely. You don't talk to enemy. You don't have any engagements at all. But a contested opponent, you contest its ideological character and form and its politics in general, so that it then drifts closer towards what you stand for as an organization. And then our characterization of the EFF is not an enemy force. It's not even an opponent. We say it's a potential strategic ally, which shares the same values and principles with Mkhonto Wesizwe by and large. And that we know because Mkhonto Wesizwe and the EFF are co-signatories of a charter that unites the Progressive Caucus in Parliament. And that charter speaks politics as to what we stand for. We agree on redress of the imbalances of the past. We don't think what we have now is the status quo must continue forever. We agree that the land must be reclaimed and be given to particularly those who were excluded by apartheid and colonialism. We agree on provision of free education. We agree on anti-imperialism.
Okay. I know we don't like Floyd, but I think in the majority of what he said in that clip, he's quite correct. The black political parties should never view themselves as enemies. You have heard me say this, I don't know how many times about the ANC, is that the ANC has got a weak leadership structure right now. Fikile Mbalula, Gwede Mantashe, Paul, Cyril Ramaphosa, I can go on and on and on. In KwaZulu Natal, Abu Duma and Abu Batuban, that guy, the former Secretary General of Ntonyo. They are just weak in their leadership style. They are captured. That one, it goes without saying. There's no way anyone can defend it. It goes without saying. So now to see Floyd saying, listen, they are not, they are a strategic opponent, because We need to convince them otherwise. The convincing is to find those with reason in the ANC, Abu Panyaza, and many others to say, guys, you guys can see how the ANC is collapsing during the reign of Cyril Ramaphosa and Fikile Mpadula. Please wake up and let's try to save the ANC. And then in the potential history, in the potential future, they can, unite again. That is very true. And it is clear black political parties, African political parties, especially in the left, cannot classify each other as enemies. They can't. At one point, you have to work with the EFF. At one point, the EFF has to work with the ATM. The EFF has to work with the MK political party. The EFF has to work with the ANC. You understand? It is, for me, it is clear as daylight that is what we must chase as African people. Now, because that message comes from the MK party and you don't like the MK party, it does not mean you have to neglect the message. I agree. There has to be some type of understanding of how these balances of powers, of forces are in our country, And he says the EFF is like a potential strategic alliance. They're gonna be aligned with each other, work hand in hand with each other to destroy whatever white monopoly capitalist agenda is out there. Come on, you can't tell me you disagree with it. I know it's Floyd that is saying that, and you don't disagree. You don't like him, but you can't disagree with that. So it was. We understand that the EFF lost a lot of members and a lot of momentum when Floyd left. Leave the other people. Losing a deputy president who is a founding member of the political party and who is in large was part of drafting the documents of the MK political party, amongst other people that assisted. He was the one who was tasked with articulating the policies and the ideology of the EFF. It was it hurt the party. But for them to then classify the MK political party as an enemy was a political misstatement, if I can say it that way. It was really. Yes, you don't like Floyd, you probably don't like Julius again, but we need that 14% of the MK political party. People don't want to hear us saying this, but who are preaching African unity, especially us who are not politically aligned, we will continue preaching it as, even if it makes you hot under the collar, it doesn't matter to me. African people must unite, full stop. African people must unite. The problem is when you unite, who's going to be the president? When you unite, which party is going to swallow which party? Mina, I don't care. The message still remains. Africans must unite. That's the only way we're going to defeat the enemy. And Floyd Shivambu said something also that also makes sense in terms of political maturity. He says we must have maturity in how you respond to things. And I was like, well, Floyd is choosing to say that now because he's on the other side. Where was that political maturity when he was in the economic freedom fighters and attacking Julius and attacking Jacob and saying all those things? But this is what he said.
I think there has to be a certain degree of political and ideological maturity that happens amongst the individual leaders of all parties, particularly of the EFF, because there is some emotive, subjective reaction to politics, and you can never get politics right if
Julius
every time...
Malema says it will never happen.
So that is the subjectivity which doesn't seem to be founded on sound ideological and political basis. And you can never get politics right if every time there is a political development, you want to emotionally react to such a circumstance. Then you are in politics for a wrong reason, because politics, you need absolute composure and you need proper temperament to be able to read the balance of forces and not to be emotive about each and every issue, because you will become personal. Like, you will even miss important opportunities.
Let me put this in this fashion, because I think people, we get too much emotionally attached to our political party. The MK does it, the AFC does it, the EFF does it. In politics, when you say you are the one with the superior logic, it should not be easy, and understand me well, it should not be easy for a person with a inferior logic to convince your members to leave your party. I let that one sink in. If I claim that I have superior logic in my company, and let's say I'm KFC, and there's chicken licking that opens up, we are chasing the same customers. The people who are working for KFC should not be easily convinced to go and join chicken licking. Then who has the superior logic? And even if that is the case, that chicken licking takes my customers as KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, it means that I need to change something with my menu, my presentation, and how I do things to win back my customers. And you see that back and forth with franchises and restaurants. You see it all the time, that there is that back and forward. This one takes out a new something in the menu. This one does the same. This one, and customers are like, hey, which wings are better? The dunk wings of KFC or the hot wings of chicken licking? It is that type of fight. You understand? That is the maturity that's how I view it from what Floyd is saying. Having that political maturity to say, okay, the political party is not always going to be an up draft. There's going to be time where we are going down, people leaving the party, time where people are coming back. You know, it's going to be up and down. It's going to be a roller coaster ride, in other words. So I understand what Floyd is saying, that you cannot always, at all time, respond emotionally. Others, they respond emotionally like Floyd, but hide the emotion behind nice words. And it seems like he's not responding emotional, but he is. He's just choosing to not to insult and not to, unlike our brother, the CIC, who everything is emotional because he's passionate. Because sometimes when you are passionate about something, it's an emotion that you carry with you. When someone speaks about Kaizer Chiefs, even when they are telling you the truth, Kaizer Chiefs is not doing well in this department or the coach must go, but because you are so invested in Kaizer Chiefs, you respond emotional. Angazi ukuthi uyangitolerate or uzongitolerate. And many of you nizongitolerate there on the comment section. By the way, I'm having a new Sunday Deluxe of comments, and I'm going to go through some videos every Sunday when I have time to post what you guys have been saying on the comment section, because I'm enjoying the comment section. Oh, I enjoy the comment section because there's a lot of emotions on the comment section. So I'm going to play and put them on the screen. Some of you need acknowledgement for the wisdom that you are dropping on the comment section. So wait for that. This Sunday, tomorrow, will be the first time I'm doing the comments video. So be aware of that. So let's not be personal about Nkosi. I would love to see the EFF turn this whole thing around, the MK attacking them or poaching them or threatening them to come to them. I'm sure in the background they are trying to fish some MK and ANC and whoever members. But the EFF, beyond everything, has got now a trust issue. A trust issue. Say, yeah, we can bring this MK member to come this side, but can we trust them? You see, because the EFF says quality over quantity. So that when you chase quality, in the numbers games of the ballot paper, you lose a lot of quantity when you're chasing quality, and that is the issue that the ANC has been doing. They always chased the quality and the quantity and never had the quantity. Let's listen to what he says about the EFF's first term and them attacking Jacob Zuma by all means necessary.
You will become personal, like you will even miss important opportunities. I'll give an example, Zianda, in terms of what got to happen in in the first term, when the EFF went to Parliament, because there was, at the leadership level, there was a narrow oppositionist approach to everything else that President Zuma was doing or saying. But if you were go on and check now as to what was President Zuma saying when he was head of state and president, on free education, on the land and everything else, on things which the EFF stands for. But there was no appreciation that here is a head of state who is saying, let us unite all the black political parties to have 2/3 so that we can expropriate land without compensation. He said that in 2017, in the National House of Traditional Leaders in Parliament, he was very clear even about characterization of where our problems come from colonialism. The Freedom Front Plus even fought him vociferously. But because of narrower politics, everything else Zuma says is wrong.
But you were there.
And you know,
I mean, that's why people say
that is where you have to learn from some of the mistakes. I don't want to disassociate myself from some of the collective decisions that were taken there. But there are certain things which I must mention, though, is that I did write publicly, by the way, anyone can search that in Google to say that President Zuma was correct on the following issues, like on several occasions, to illustrate that we need to maximize on what he has said correctly. Mbuyiseni will always remind me that you previously had said we must have a constructive and sometimes confrontational approach with President Zuma. And you were cautioned that everything else that we do with President Zuma must be oppositional. 100%. It doesn't matter whether he is speaking sense, whether he is speaking the politics that you agree with, you are just fighting Zuma. It doesn't matter what are the circumstances. I don't want to be in politics that are narrower like that. I will never be a part of such politics. That is part of the reasons that we had to disassociate with some projects, because you realize that there is no appreciation of different conjunctures and appreciation of real politics. It's about point scoring and wanting to outshine people and wanting to appear much more cleverer and much more radical than everyone else. And the majority of times, that doesn't lead to anything. So then the version of politics of President Zuma is that it doesn't matter what we have said about him before. It doesn't matter what people do. He always finds a way of uniting a common perspective to pursue a progressive agenda. And that is what I appreciate, and I am proud to associate.
It's quite interesting what Floyd Shivambu is saying about Jacob Zuma and the EFF's first term in Parliament. I tend to agree with him. Not for me. You know, I was a Zuma supporter from Kudala, the same as I was a Cyril Julius supporter from the first day. I told you guys, once the EFF was formed, I voted EFF. That one I say it without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not a member of the EFF. I tend to want to see myself as a believer of free-mindedness, because politics, you guys know my opinion with politics. I just feel like politics is a big trap, especially signing up for political membership. That's the biggest trap for African people, to further divide us. But during Zuma's time, especially when Thuli Madonsela came in, there was nothing that Zuma could say that was right in the eyes of the people, because the propaganda machine was so well funded to make us overlook the fact that universities were being built. Jacob Zuma was amongst all the other previous presidents, even currently right now, was the president who spent most money in infrastructure development. And just naming just those two alone just tells you that South Africa was just in a better space compared to what we have, especially in recent memory of Cyril Ramaphosa. But there's people who hate Jacob Zuma who will tell you Cyril Ramaphosa's how many years now? 5 years is better than Jacob Zuma's 9 wasted years. There's people that hate him that much. They will say during Jacob Zuma's time, there was more corruption than there was now. There's people that will tell you during Jacob Zuma's time, there was more load shedding than now. Without fact-funding things, they will just tell you things was worse. Crime, petrol, bread, everything was worse during Zuma's time. But when you go and look at the facts on paper, it's not true. So because of the leadership of the EFF at that time blamed Jacob Zuma for the releasing of Julius Malema from the ANC. It was a mission to say, we are going to take you down. They were at the forefront of Zuma Must Fall. And Zuma Must Fall was not going to have as much momentum as it had if the EFF was not there. Let's be honest. The EFF carries the badge of saying they can organize marches. And at that time, these were young men and women of the EFF. You couldn't touch them. You couldn't touch them at all. You couldn't. I said on the last year when I voted the EFF, I said, if there was a perfect time to have the CIC as the president, it's now. I repeated this all the time. I said, maybe even 2029, we can still have a good CIC. But I'm telling you, age nullifies or dilutes the Pan-Africanism and the African spirituality, black consciousness that is within leaders in politics. There isn't a politician who without being a president grew with that Pan-Africanism as an opponent of the government and maintain it forever. There isn't. You can't maintain it forever. The older you get, the more other things that you did when you were young as the EFF, the more you move away from them and you try to maturize your approach to anything in life. So they were attacking Jacob Zuma, and where he says Jacob Zuma was calling for unity in 2019, and he says I acknowledge that I don't want to exclude myself from the collective agreement or decision, but I have learned from my mistakes. So my question to my response to that question is, leave the people who have not learned from their mistake to continue doing what they are doing, because to them it's not a mistake. Nobody could have convinced the EFF, Floyd at that time that they were making a mistake. It's only after years that it came out to say we were deceived. You understand? But now, leave the people. We're growing in different maturity. I hear people wanting to debate the level of Pan-Africanism of someone. Me now, I keep quiet when I see I'm with a philosopher or someone who knows more theory than me in Pan-Africa. Keep quiet. We're not competing with black consciousness. We're competing with uniting African people. So you can have more clarity on what Marcus Garvey did. You read all of his books and everything, and that is good for you. That is very good. That knowledge is not for you. Now, just because you are that other side, when a Floyd Shivambu of the fence, does not mean now other people are childish, other people are emotional. You understand what I'm saying? Allow the process of time to take place. Allow the process of time to take place. So he says now our politics has turned out to be point scoring and trying to see who's got more wisdom and whatever. But we can say the same about you. And they were attacking the EFF. It's the same with the ANC. There's other ANC members, our Fikile, will turn around in the near future and say, no, we had to say what we had to say because we were defending Cyril. I mean, Fikile has already done that with Jacob Zuma. So you can't trust what these politicians are saying. But anyway, I need to run quickly somewhere, and we have the policy conference today at 3 o'clock. I hope I'll drop this video before 3 o'clock. We are having a policy conference. We need to fix our policy as the Pan-African School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture, and make sure that everything is loud and clear. Documentation of an organization It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. But we have started our policy conference. We were supposed to start before the gala dinner, but things happened that did not allow us to get to where we wanted to get in time. So we sidelined it, and now we are attacking it for some few weeks with this policy conference. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until we meet again, don't forget to pray. But after you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace and Pan-Africanism. I salute you.